Is matters of council discussion. It's the town council procedure update, and I believe that's interim director of legislative services, Miss Phipps. Now, Director Phipps, come on down. Gentle.
Is it just a tap?
It's just a tap. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, Town Council, we've completed the update to the rules of procedure for Town Council rules of procedure. What I provided was a summary of the major changes that we made to the document, just to make it easier to identify those changes. Many of them were formatting. I didn't list those. The first one, for example, was town was added wherever council appeared without town on it, just to be clear. The rest were mainly procedural. Did you have any questions about the substantive changes?
Any questions? No. And I've just, as a point of clarification, I see where we removed work sessions. So all of our meetings will be meetings, regular meetings. So we don't have to keep on saying special meeting unless we have a special meeting. So we can still do approvals, amendments, all of that.
Legislation will be more streamlined that way.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Fantastic job. Thank you so much. And there's no questions?
Madam Mayor, Dave Jenkins from Ward 4. Thank you for summarizing those changes. That was very helpful. Thank you.
That was. Thank you. Out of the hot seat. All right. Matters of information, the refitting financing for 6355 Crane Highway.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Town Council, I've provided you guys copies of two funding sources that we've identified. One, we'll start with USDA. It's under the Facilities Direct Loan and Grant Program. It's a qualifying project, obviously. And also from the state of Maryland, specifically Department of Housing and Community Development, the infrastructure financing works, which I've given you sheets on both of those. And public safety also is a qualifying subject for funding there as well. Additionally, our bond counsel is available to meet at 6 p.m. She wasn't able to be here tonight, but she's available to be here virtually 6 o'clock Thursday if it suits the council in a closed session to discuss further some of the dynamics that may be involved with this, because it is sort of unique because it is a property that the town will not own. It's a lease. So if she's available, I'm not sure your availability, but if so, then we can schedule that and do that Thursday night. Her name is Lindsay Rader, and she's out of Funk Bolton is the firm in Baltimore. So if you'll just check your schedules and let me know. But of course, Lindsay's much more qualified to speak to financing than I am. Otherwise, I'd be a financial executive somewhere, maybe. But just wanted to make you aware that we had researched this. We'd given it some thought. These are the two sources that we've identified, but due to the complexity of the programming, because of it being it's not a property we own. Lindsay thought it would be a good idea for her to, one, introduce herself to the new council, because probably a lot of you, Dave, I don't know if she was the bond counsel back when you were on staff or not.
Law firm. I'm familiar with the law firm.
Yeah. So it'd be an opportunity for her to sort of explain some of the, like I say, the intricacies that are involved with this sort of financing. But I know the one thing that this the local government financing works, it specifically states 150 to 10 million. And talking to Scott, he had indicated they've done projects over 20 million. So this 10 million is not the ceiling for their financing. They have done up in over $20 million in one specific project. And so that's where we are on that. But like I say, I'd be much more comfortable if you guys had the ability to listen to Lindsay, because this is what she does.
And Mr. Manuel, I know that Senator Middleton had also indicated that he will be looking, CGA will be looking for other sources to fund the refit of this
Yeah, and I
building.
talked to him yesterday. I'm not sure how far this reaches. Spoke with him yesterday, and he indicated that if other than the sources that we're obviously familiar with, which would be either a bond bill for in part of the amount, or being written into the governor's budget would be another way that the state could specifically assist in the financing, as well as they are currently looking for federal dollars that maybe would apply. So anything we can do to bring that total indebtedness down, I think would be great, but we have to be in a timely manner.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Mr. Manuel?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bryant, Ward 3. I sent you the bond hearing for the delegation.
For the delegation,
Would
correct.
that be something?
We could do a request, yes. That may be something for a later agenda topic, but anything else that the council may think. I know in the past, we've had luck with the Dorchester Community Center, but looking at the construction costs, for example, for the police station, judging from the money we have currently for DCC, we're seeing the dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to. So we may need to get to a point where we may need to reevaluate and ask for additional funding on that as well.
My thought was for the furniture and fixtures.
Yes, the FFEs.
If we could, that for that. Thank you.
And that is next Wednesday, isn't it? Did they?
26th, I believe. I'm not sure.
26th, and
Yeah.
will we have, will we be represented there? As in the Royal U?
Don't have it on my calendar yet, but I plan to put it on my calendar, yes. But the main thing is, and maybe that, I think the bigger what should come out of this is we need to establish a process that we're discussing these things before, let's say the Tuesday
Right.
before we need to show up on a Wednesday. We need to sort of, and maybe I'll task the legislative services with that we get that on the schedule for August, September, so that we have sort of a understanding and the full consensus of council, like what programs or what projects we would like to push forward in the future. It's a process we've never had in the past, but I think it would be a benefit for, if nothing else, make the public aware of what we're looking at. And
It came out pretty late. It just came out last week.
yeah,
As soon as I got it, I sent it.
And as you mentioned, our feasibility period ends on the 23rd of October. So this 26th October bond hearing, I think if I read it correctly, it's more about not actually, I don't know if they're accepting requests or if it was just more of an informative Q&A kind of session is what I kind of, Delegate Davis is in charge of that, but by Thursday, we should have probably a better understanding of funding for the police department so that we can meet our obligation of the 23rd of October. Does that sound reasonable?
yes, because we need to let them know this Friday,
Okay, well, there you go. I
even
love
though it
last minute.
expires the 23rd. 23rd is a Sunday, and I don't think.
And if I could ask some questions, Councilman Jenkins, Ward 4, thanks for the information. So what is the timing of each of these sources of funds? I mean, is it, how long does it take to get, or can you use them all together? I mean, or can you package them together?
Yeah, I think we can package them. One of the things we have, I will say, going for us is that Chief has $2 million in his budget through ARPA funding for the police station, which could go a long way in paying for a lot of the design. If we did that ahead, we wouldn't have to issue bond indebtedness on that. At the same time, that depending on what the economy does, it could push us out farther because it's not trending in a very good direction right now. And I think with one of the conversations I had with USDA is, and I think it's similar to our infrastructure financing that we did on the Southwest Quadrant, is that if we lock in a rate and the rate goes lower, we can accept the lower rate, but we'll never have to go above what we lock in at. So there's programming advantages to moving in that direction too, with the uncertainty in the markets currently.
And I believe there's another $2 million set aside for capital improvements. That was specifically for the fixtures. Isn't that correct?
I do not recall this, but I can go back and research
I
that.
think that's what Kevin had said, that there is 2 million. So we may be 4 million in, which would be helpful.
Sure, if we got bond bill from the governor or the legislature, that just would take that off the top of the 17.5, if that's what it ends up coming to. Oh, the National League of Cities. Okay.
Any other questions?
So then what's the timing? I mean, when do we need the bulk of the funds? I mean, I don't know, we got to get past the,
Yeah, the bonds, it would be for construction because
Okay,
of us
okay,
having the $2 million set aside, or potentially up to $4 million, which would cover our
okay,
engineering, architectural design work.
oh, good.
Yes.
And that would show that we have, quote, skin in the game. So it's, I would think that would be more favorable. if we
Yeah.
Go to a loan or whatever from the state or the feds or the state. Thank you.
Any other questions? Moving on to our legislation, Resolution 22-30 Town Council Procedures, which we just had a little bit of a summary on for introduction and consideration of adoption.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Town Council, Resolution 22-30, a resolution concerning revision of Town Council rules and procedures for the purpose of amending the rules and guidelines by which the Council of the Town of La Plata Town Council operates and all matters related thereto.
All right, do I have a motion to accept Resolution 22-30 as presented?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to accept resolution 22-30 as presented, revision the town council rules of procedures.
Do I have a second?
Madam Mayor, I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to Ordinance 22-17 Town Council Procedure Code Revision, and this is only for introduction this evening.
Yes, for introduction, Mayor and Council, Ordinance 22-17, an ordinance concerning Town Council Procedures Code Revision for the purpose of amending Chapter 13, Council, to revise language pertaining to the order of business outlined in Section 13-7.
Do I have any questions on this ordinance? We've seen it once before. All right, then do we have a consensus to move it forward for?
City attorney or town attorney, since we have said we won't even be a city.
Greg?
If you'll notice the way it's annotated, we're actually removing that expression. For some reason, this is the only place in the entirety of town code where that term appears, and it's not appropriate. You're absolutely right.
All right, any other comments? Fantastic. So we can move it forward. Future work session topics.
Mayor and Town Council, we have listed the draft annual calendar and meeting schedule, as well as the council agenda item request, which I believe we touched on. Also, communications with the attorney. He's making very good progress on the cable franchise agreement with Comcast that we will hope to be bringing back to you in the near future to try to complete that. But as of right now, those are the main items.
Wonderful. Thank you. I know we were at a standstill on that, so it's good to hear that there's movement on that. Public comment. Do I have anybody that would like to speak? If so, I ask that you state your name, whether you live within the incorporated town limits, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do I have anybody that would like to speak this evening?
Madam Mayor, there's no one present signed up to speak.
Thank you very much. So we have a reason to go into closed session tonight. Would someone like to make a motion for closed session? I will. Okay, go ahead, Dave. You want to?
Madam Mayor, I will make a motion that we recess and go into closed session as prescribed by the ordinance. Yeah, I lost where it was, sorry. If I can find it. That we go into a closed session, according to State Government Article 3-305B, Section 14, to discuss, for a contract is awarded or bids are open, discuss a matter directly related to a negotiated strategy and contents of a bid proposal. If public discussion or disclosure would adversely impact the ability of the public body to participate in a competitive bidding or proposal process. That's the University of Maryland, University Charles Regional Medical Center agreement.
Thank you. That was a lot.
So I took it out, took it so long.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, I will take roll call. Councilman Trollinger, yay or nay for going into closed session? Councilwoman Bryant Ward? Councilman Jenkins?
Yeah.
And Mayor James says yay. So we will be going into closed session, and I move to adjourn this meeting at 6:17 PM. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.